secret societies of ancient Egypt and Nubia. What if I told you that ancient Egypt, the cradle of civilization, science, and mystery, was not ruled by mere kings, but by a secret brotherhood sworn to protect forbidden knowledge for thousands of years? A network so powerful that even after their empires crumbled, their symbols, rituals, and teachings quietly shaped every major civilization that followed. But here's the twist. Evidence suggests this hidden order didn't start in Egypt at all. Its roots may lie deeper in Africa, in the shadowed temples of Nubia. For centuries, historians have painted the pharaohs as divine rulers who built pyramids to honor gods. But what if those gods were metaphors? What if the pharaohs themselves were initiates, guardians of sacred science, members of a mystery school that held the keys to life, death, and rebirth? Ancient texts like the Book of Coming Forth by Day, known to us as the Book of the Dead, describe elaborate initiation rituals. These weren't simply burial rites. They were step-by-step manuals for transformation, encoded messages for those seeking enlightenment. Every line, every symbol carved into stone could be read two ways, one for the common people and another for the initiated. But here's the twist. Deep in Nubia, long before Egypt rose to power, temples were already aligned with the stars, mirroring constellations like Orion and Sirius, symbols later central to Egyptian religion. Could it be that Nubian priests were the first initiates, passing their sacred knowledge northward along the Nile? Archaeologists rarely speak of this, but at the temple of Jebel Barkal in Sudan, once considered the southern seat of Amun, inscriptions show pharaohs traveling south, not for conquest, but for initiation. They called it going to the pure mountain. Imagine that. The most powerful men on earth journeying into the desert, not to expand their empires, but to receive ancient wisdom hidden within Nubian sanctuaries. And what exactly were they learning there? Hidden beneath myth and metaphor lies a deeper truth, one that connects Egyptian hieroglyphs, Nubian symbols, and later, the secret teachings of groups like the Pythagoreans, the Freemasons, and even certain mystical sects of early Christianity. The thread is unmistakable. Geometry, light, resurrection, and the idea that knowledge is power. Power too dangerous for the uninitiated. Think about the Eye of Horus. Most people see it as a symbol of protection, but anatomically, it maps perfectly onto the human brain, specifically the pineal gland, often called the seat of the soul. Ancient Egyptians didn't just worship symbols, they encoded neuroscience, mathematics, and metaphysics into them. But here's where things get darker. Every mystery school, from Egypt to Greece to later African kingdoms, shared a principle: initiation through death and rebirth. A symbolic death of the old self and awakening as something more. The pharaoh's tomb wasn't just a grave, it was an initiation chamber, a portal where the initiate died to the world and was reborn as one who knows. There's a reason the pyramids were sealed so tightly. They weren't merely tombs. They were designed to channel energy, sound, and vibration, creating a resonance chamber that could alter consciousness. Modern engineers still can't explain the precision of their acoustic design. Were these chambers used for secret rituals of transformation? In the ruins of Napata and Meroe, the heart of ancient Nubia, archaeologists found evidence of a priestly order that mirrors Egyptian hierarchy. These priests of Amun didn't just worship gods, they ruled kings. A pharaoh could not ascend without their blessing. In other words, the true power may not have been on the throne, but in the temples. One inscription speaks of the keepers of the hidden light. They vowed to guard the words that move the heavens. Many believe this refers to a coded understanding of astronomy and time, an ability to predict cosmic cycles. Nubian and Egyptian calendars were astonishingly accurate. They tracked solstices, floods, and planetary alignments with a precision that even modern astronomers respect. But here's the twist. Some of these keepers vanished from the record around the fall of Meroe. No graves, no names, as if they were erased deliberately. Local oral traditions speak of a brotherhood of the Black Sun, traveling west and south into the mountains, carrying scrolls and relics said to contain the breath of the gods. What happened to them? Centuries later, in Mali, Dogon elders describe visitors who came from the east, carrying sacred diagrams of the stars. The Dogon people still preserve astronomical knowledge about Sirius B, a dwarf star invisible to the naked eye, long before telescopes existed. Coincidence? Or a continuation of the same hidden brotherhood? Many scholars dismiss this as myth, but the symbols don't lie. The serpent, the sun disk, the open palm, the key of life, the Ankh. These appear not just in Egypt, but across Africa, always tied to themes of rebirth, wisdom, and power through knowledge. Even more intriguing is how these teachings echoed through time. In Greece, the Eleusinian mysteries mirrored Egyptian rites of Osiris and Isis, death and rebirth. Pythagoras, who founded one of the most secretive schools in history, spent years studying in Egypt and possibly Nubia before creating his system of sacred geometry. Later, early Gnostic Christians adopted similar symbolism: light, knowledge, resurrection. And the Freemasons? Their symbols, the eye, the pyramid, the compass, all trace back to Egyptian mystery schools. It's as if fragments of the ancient brotherhood survived every empire, reshaping themselves to fit the times. But the deeper question is, what exactly were they protecting? Some say it was advanced knowledge, energy, sound, and consciousness far beyond our understanding. Others believe it was a spiritual technology, a way to awaken the divine within. Perhaps both are true. Because here's something to think about. When Napoleon's troops entered Egypt in 1798, they reported finding sealed chambers under the Great Sphinx, passages that led nowhere. But local priests told them those tunnels once connected to a hall of records, said to hold the complete wisdom of the ancients, guarded by the Brotherhood of the Serpent. That same serpent appears again and again, from Nubian carvings to the staff of Hermes, to the modern medical symbol, the caduceus. Coincidence? Or continuity? Modern historians say these are symbols of healing or eternity. But ancient initiates believed the serpent represented the coiled energy within, what later mystics would call Kundalini. To awaken it was to become a living god. And maybe that's the greatest secret of all, that the divinity of the pharaohs wasn't about bloodline, but initiation. That anyone, through the right knowledge and transformation, could ascend from man to God. That's a dangerous idea, one that threatens the power of any ruler, church, or empire. Which is why, perhaps, it was buried, hidden, encrypted in myth. But even today, echoes of this brotherhood survive. In secret societies, in African priesthoods, in Masonic lodges, in hidden manuscripts locked in museums and monasteries. The knowledge never died, it was concealed, waiting for those ready to see. So the next time you look at the pyramids, don't just see stone. See the initiation chambers of an ancient order, one that understood that true power isn't in ruling others, but mastering yourself. Because the real question isn't who these brotherhoods were, but whether they still exist. And if they do, what knowledge are they still protecting from the rest of the world?